In Bollywood, where glamour shines brightest and secrets hide deepest, one story remained buried behind the dazzling facade, until now. This documentary uncovers the unexpected bond between Ayaan Mehra, a disciplined and quiet Indian bodyguard, and Meera Kapoor, one of the industry's most beloved stars. It began during a season of rising threats against celebrities, stalkers, intrusive paparazzi, and online harassment. But no one predicted that while Ayaan was hired to protect Meera from the world, he would also end up shielding her from the loneliness she hid behind her fame. Before their worlds collided, Ayaan lived a life ruled by discipline. A former military commando turned private security professional, he avoided unnecessary attention. His job was simple: observe, anticipate, and protect. He had guarded politicians, business moguls, and visiting dignitaries. But celebrity protection was new territory. When an agency contacted him for a high-profile assignment involving a Bollywood superstar facing persistent threats, he treated it like any other deployment: focused, detached, and strictly professional. He never imagined this assignment would test his heart more than his training. Meera Kapoor, on the other hand, lived under the unrelenting spotlight. Loved by millions for her roles in romantic dramas, she portrayed confidence on screen but battled exhaustion behind it. Endless shoots, media scrutiny, and rumors had become normal. But the situation escalated when a stalker sent threatening messages, photos taken outside her home, and even attempted to breach her film sets. Her management decided it was time to hire elite protection. Meera resisted at first, insisting she didn't want to live like a prisoner. But fear eventually outweighed pride. Ayaan's first day on the job began at Meera's seaside apartment in Bandra. He expected diva-like demands, but instead found a soft-spoken woman whose eyes revealed exhaustion more than arrogance. She greeted him politely, though with a hint of skepticism. Celebrities rarely trusted new faces. Ayaan maintained professional distance, surveying the apartment, entrances, exits, blind spots. Meera watched him quietly, surprised at how thorough and silent he was. She had expected another bulky guard who would boast or intrude. But Ayaan blended into the background, calm, focused, unreadable. Their relationship began with observation, hers of him, his of the world around her. Ayaan shadowed Meera through shoots, interviews, charity events, and rehearsals. He never flinched at crowds, never complained about long hours, and never overstepped boundaries. His quiet presence unsettled Meera at first. She wasn't used to someone not trying to impress her. She caught herself stealing glances, trying to decipher him. But Ayaan remained unreadable, offering only respectful nods. To him, she was a mission. To her, he was a mystery. The first crack in their distance came during a chaotic media frenzy. A leaked rumor about Meera's personal life triggered a stampede of paparazzi outside a studio. Cameras flashed like lightning, and reporters pushed aggressively. For a split second, Meera froze. Ayaan moved without hesitation, shielding her with his body, guiding her through the crowd with military precision. His firm grip, steady voice, and composed presence stunned her. When they finally reached the car, she looked at him differently, not as an employee, but as a guardian she genuinely trusted. After that incident, Meera began opening up in small ways. She asked about his day, offered him tea during breaks, and thanked him more sincerely. Ayaan responded politely, but maintained emotional distance. He had seen clients grow attached to their protectors before, only to forget them once the danger passed. He refused to blur lines. But Meera wasn't trying to blur anything. She simply craved normal conversation, something rare in her world of scripted emotions. Ayaan's quiet honesty became a comfort she couldn't explain. Their bond deepened during a late-night drive home from a shoot. Meera, tired from a 14-hour day, asked softly, "Do you ever get tired of protecting people?" Ayaan hesitated before replying. Everyone needs protecting from something. She was surprised at the depth of his answer. For the first time, Ayaan saw her not as a superstar, but as a lonely human being trapped in her fame. Meera realized she could talk to him without judgment, something rare for someone constantly critiqued by the public. Days turned into weeks, and the nature of silence between them changed. It was no longer cold or formal, it was comfortable. Meera found herself looking for Ayaan's presence during interviews, rehearsals, and long waiting hours on set. His steady gaze grounded her. Meanwhile, Ayaan noticed the small things, how she rubbed her temples when stressed, how she forced a smile for fans even when exhausted, how her laughter grew rarer each week. He began caring more than he intended, an emotional risk for someone in his profession. One evening, Meera insisted on stopping at a small roadside dhaba, craving street chai instead of her usual catered meals. Ayaan reluctantly agreed but stayed alert. To his surprise, Meera laughed freely, enjoying the anonymity of sitting under dim lights with ordinary people who barely recognized her. Seeing her so human, so unfiltered, stirred something in him. Her joy made him forget his distance, just for a moment. When she said, "Thank you for letting me feel normal," he felt his walls start to crumble. Their growing closeness did not go unnoticed. Crew members whispered. Paparazzi speculated. Meera's manager warned her that emotional involvement with security staff could fuel scandal. Ayaan was asked privately to remain strictly professional. The reminder stung him more than it should have. He knew the unspoken rule. Celebrities and their protectors lived in different worlds. But Meera refused to treat him like a replaceable employee. "You're more than my bodyguard," she told him one evening. Her words were kind, but dangerous. The turning point came when Meera's stalker resurfaced, this time escalating to vandalism outside her home. The police monitored the situation, but Meera felt unsafe. Ayaan stayed by her side almost constantly, even sleeping on a couch outside her room. One stormy night, shaken by another threatening message, Meera admitted through tears how suffocating her life had become. Ayaan didn't speak. He simply sat near her until she calmed. His presence was the only stability she had left. In those quiet hours, something unspoken passed between them. Meera saw a man who protected her not because he was paid to, but because he genuinely cared. Ayaan saw a woman yearning for something real in a world built on illusion. Their hands brushed when she passed him a glass of water, an accidental touch that lingered longer than it should have. Neither spoke about it, but both felt the shift. Their hearts had crossed a line their profession forbade. The next days were filled with unspoken feelings. Ayaan avoided prolonged eye contact, terrified of letting his emotions override his duty. Meera, however, felt braver. She asked more personal questions about his family, childhood, dreams. Ayaan answered sparingly. His life had taught him that emotional attachments complicate judgment. But Meera's curiosity was disarming. She wanted to know the real man behind the stoic protector. And slowly, Ayaan felt his barriers eroding. The emotional tension escalated during a film festival in Dubai, where Meera was scheduled to appear on the red carpet. Surrounded by glittering lights and celebrities, Meera felt strangely alone. But when she glanced back and saw Ayaan standing a few steps behind, she felt anchored. During a quieter moment on the terrace overlooking the city, she told him, "You make me feel safe, Ayaan, not just from danger, but from myself." Her honesty left him speechless. That night, after the event, Meera grew unusually quiet. In the elevator, she asked softly, "Do you ever think about us?" Ayaan froze, torn between duty and desire. "There is no us, Meera," he whispered. The pain in his voice surprised even him. The elevator doors opened, but she didn't step out. "Then why does it feel like there is?" she asked. He had no answer. The distance between them had never felt smaller or more dangerous. Returning to Mumbai, Ayaan attempted to re-establish boundaries. He requested a rotation change, hoping distance would help. But Meera refused to let him withdraw. "You don't get to walk away because you're afraid," she confronted him one night. Her voice trembled, not with anger, but with heartbreak. Ayaan felt torn between his job, his principles, and the woman he had come to care for more deeply than he had ever admitted. The story took a sharp turn when Meera was attacked while leaving a private rehearsal. A masked individual tried to force her into a car, and Ayaan, despite being temporarily off duty, happened to be nearby. He fought off the attacker with lethal precision, sustaining minor injuries. Meera, shaken and terrified, clung to him, realizing how much he meant to her. The near-death moment shattered any illusions they had built about staying apart. After giving her statement to police, Meera refused to let Ayaan leave the hospital. She sat beside him, holding his hand while he received treatment. He tried to protest, but she silenced him with a look that carried all the words she couldn't say. "You saved my life," she whispered. He wanted to say he always would, but he didn't dare. Their silence held more truth than any confession. News of the attack spread rapidly. Social media buzzed with speculation, and Meera's closeness to Ayaan became the center of gossip columns. Producers panicked. Brand sponsors grew anxious. Her manager insisted she distance herself from Ayaan to avoid scandal. But Meera refused. "He's not just my bodyguard," she said firmly. For the first time, she chose honesty over image, a rare act in an industry built on perfection. Ayaan, however, knew the consequences she risked. Late one evening, he packed his things and prepared to resign, believing it was the only way to protect her career. But when Meera found him at the building entrance, she blocked his path. "You can protect my life, but not my choices," she challenged. He looked at her, deeply, painfully, and realized he had underestimated her strength. She wasn't asking for a fairy tale. She was asking for the truth. He finally confessed, quietly, almost reluctantly, that he cared for her more than he should. Meera didn't smile or cry. She simply took his hand, as though she had been waiting for him to stop running. "Then stay," she said softly. It wasn't a declaration of love, nor a plea. It was a simple truth. She wanted him in her life, regardless of the rules society tried to impose. Their relationship didn't become a fairy tale overnight. They kept things private, navigating their worlds with caution. Ayaan continued protecting Meera, but now with honesty between them. Their connection grew quietly, late-night conversations, shared meals, stolen moments away from cameras. Meera found peace in his presence, and Ayaan found warmth in her trust. Their bond wasn't built on glamour, but on moments of vulnerability neither had expected. Months later, when Meera won a prestigious award, she thanked her team, her family, and then paused, glancing toward the edge of the stage where Ayaan stood. She didn't mention his name, but the world felt the weight of her final words. "To the person who stands behind me, quietly always, you are my strength." Cameras caught her gaze. Ayaan looked down, humbled. Their story was no longer just theirs. It had become a quiet revolution in a world obsessed with status. Today, their story remains one of Bollywood's most whispered romances, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. A guard and a star, drawn together not by fantasy, but by genuine humanity. In a world filled with scripted emotions, their unscripted bond stood out. Ayaan once said everyone needs protecting from something. For Meera, it was loneliness. For Ayaan, it was his own guarded heart. Together, they found something worth breaking the rules for, something rare, fragile, and beautifully human. Thanks for watching.